hurt my elbows after a while.
It does eventually. What you can do is you can put a pillow on the desk as we finally loaded in
There we go.
to round 2. Again, brought to you by Facebook Gaming as the Rules of Survival Global Series Season 2 Regional Clash 2018 of the SEA region has resumed.
Maybe they didn't get enough baby powder in there. The finger slipped every time it hit the rim.
Could have been. Yeah, we saw a couple of missed shots in that last round.
Know.
So maybe we've got everything all figured out now as we drop in. Taking a look at the count, looks like we've got a whopping 60 players left this round.
Let's go.
As we finally made our way in, and a quick spread across the map. Looks like nobody is heading north so far, as we've got a west to east plane. Squad 7 might be making a liar out of me, but instead they're just hugging the coast.
This plane actually was a very top-sided plane path, actually. Like, we cut off a large section of the south side, so teams might be long dropping down into Wheat Town or into Research could also be a possibility. This is the only time we'd usually see Research. But honestly, there isn't a big fan-out usually happening, as we can see already onto the left side of the map. There's not a whole lot of squads already separated there. They're staying pretty close together. This might be them, though, fighting over vehicles right away and then using that vehicle to get down into Rust Bay or to Safe Store. Again, we'll have to see once we see this first circle what's going to happen.
Oh, and look at that.
Central, so there's still a lot on the table for these teams.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of damage going on across these two teams as well, as no knocks, no downs just yet, but this is a very densely populated area right now. There are a lot of players inside of this central region, and they're going to have to start spreading out. I'm a bit curious to see where this car is headed, if they decide to go all the way on down to Safe Store or instead just tag it on a little bit further south instead, as this looks like Squad 5 right now.
You can also see 14 have actually gotten themselves 2 vehicles, and they met up, and now we're heading into Rust Bay. So we'll see here. This is, from the looks of it, War of Elite. They already ran into one of the FR squads, so instead they're just going to go ahead and back off and say, all right, we'll just head a little bit more south and then start looting.
Heading on over towards those underground pathways to try to see if they can find some loot, but there was already a squad there, so a little bit too late to the action, but they need to start looking for some weapons if they want to be able to defend themselves.
Don't you hate when you have a giant island and there's only 56 other players, and for some reason they're
already
at
all
the loot.
there.
They're already at your loot location.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, guys. There's so much island. Why you got to take our spot?
I mean, sometimes it can be beneficial if you deliberately hot drop and look for early kills very early on. That can set you up really well going into the mid game, because then not only do you have the kills, but you have the entire area's exclusive loot gathered by the other players and picked up by those corpses. That said, massive risk. If you don't find yourself with a favorable weapon, if you lose a member trying to go for a hot drop, then that can make that real tough. As Seal Squad on top of the crane.
So Baby Burrino was on a BMX bike, and he got blown up already by Black. That's from AL. So and it was a bicycle. It wasn't a bike, one of these. No, it was actually a BMX bike, and that is why you don't ride the BMXs, because they are literally made out of feathers. A couple bullets will just... For some reason, it explodes. I don't know how the BMX explodes, but it just does. Meanwhile, inside of this hill, though, RTV is going toe-to-toe here with Dark Frost. They're coming on over, and it's not going to be enough as Slurpee's going to get taken on down.
Yeah, that's Raptor getting the knock, but now we've got more action as Kyrax trying to push in with RTV into Dark Frost. Samsoy hops into the building. Meanwhile, Wolf inside of the other as they're continuing to roam around Mad Max style. Raptor not going for the kill just yet, trying to use him as bait to bleed it out. And still, Kyrax looking for an opening along with Lunazy.
Yeah, so we're going to get taken on down here. It already looks like RTV have said, all right, you know what? We lost a squad member. Let's just keep on going. Because all they had was an MP7, and then, honestly, okay, they did have an AKM, so they did have a little bit of range, but they still weren't that confident. None of them actually are running helmets right now, except their drivers. So not a really good, it was a high risk, pretty low reward.
Yeah, risky play. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Again, there are 5 rounds in this game, so maybe RTV wanted to try to get aggressive and look for that loot that has already been gathered by another squad, but instead they find themselves with a man down very early on, and now they've got a few buildings that they can work through down towards Rust Bay before they start getting further into the zone, because we're getting towards that 5-minute mark, and was that a squad wipe? Oh, that's Iron Pro getting down. He's been killed, in fact, in the Arov squad. Looks like they're having some trouble. Small Boy trying to give some cover over to Baby Borneo as EF finds himself another.
Small Boy's down.
Small Boy has been knocked. Law Pro looking to answer back against Terrorist, as that's a lot of action inside of this house. And things are getting tough.
Ferris going to get taken on down here. Black's coming on over toward the side. Don't you see Black right in front of you? He's able to take him down on the stairs. And that is going to be AL losing out to AROV. Small Boy, though, is still alive, and that's kind of the key member you'd like to keep having as far as teammates go. So AROV, they lose out on a couple members. They get themselves 3 kills, but meanwhile, Nara is just around the corner here, coming into another complex.
Yeah.
And look at that beautiful movement tech. I love when I see good movement tech, and they're already here looking for a wounded AROV.
They heard the gunshots. They see the bodies. They know that this is just loot ripe for the taking. And look at Val maneuvering around this building. He's actually made his way all the way up to the 3rd floor and gets around the far side.
Oh, no.
Small Boy goes in. Val breaches and enters. Doesn't get the knock, though. He trades one down to Small Boy. He's been eliminated, but here comes the push from the rest of the squad. Nara looking for Law Pro, and they get him. AROV has been eliminated very early on.
Val, that was some tricky feet work there, getting himself onto the 3rd floor. I did not know you could actually get to the 3rd floor in those complexes. Now I know.
And that's hours of practice showing themselves right there. You have to learn the ledge. You have to learn the angle. If you step just a bit too far, you fall all the way back down to the ground floor. But instead, he goes towards the far window to make sure there is no chance that he has been spotted.
All right, so these teams are starting to play a little bit more like Europe because we're already down 14 players at the 6-minute mark as we saw another squad wipe coming out from the side of just Call Me onto some pro players. So I'll have to double check what their kill count is, but already a lot of blood here.
Oh, yeah.
A little bloody.
That's how we like our games. Lots of action distributed over the course of the match, but we still got about 20 minutes before we get down to that final few circles, so plenty of time for the players to play it safe and drag it out if they want. But with AROV eliminated this early, that means there are a lot of points up for grabs with these squads. Lots of kills and that placement points as well, so we could very well see the standings shaken up after this.
Yeah, especially with AROV going down immediately. That means they're going to get probably around the total of
15th, 14th.
50 points with the kills they got earlier. So they got themselves 3 kills, 30 points, and then I think a 2nd place finish. So that's looking at 40 to 50 right there. So not a whole lot they're going to gain from. The thing is, we just had a very bloody early game, and this is a very central circle. So what I'm now going to expect is a very quiet mid game once we hit the 12 to the 19-minute mark. There is going to be a lot of aggressive teams going around. Everyone's going to be already situated into the circle. There's no reason to move about unless the circle's going to force you to.
Instead, there's going to be plenty of time to maneuver around. Fate make their way back out to Research Edifice, all the way onto the side of the map yet again.
Looking a little familiar. This is a route that we saw them take last game. This time, though, it's looking a little bit more bumpy.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've got the rehearsed strategy, you might as well stick towards it as, maybe getting some damage onto Got as he makes his way behind the building, gets a little bit of cover, but still taking fire from Zerav on the far side. The rest of the squad, though, is being shot as their own vehicle has been trapped by another truck in the field.
Still see shots coming out here from Zerav. Not going to actually land, though. Just scaring them off, saying, Seal, get out of here. This is all our loot. You do not come into our vicinity without being punished. And they'll just continue on looting.
Yeah, still just making sure they can load up on everything conceivable before they make their way in. And Seal, it's still only Zone 1. They don't have to worry about the damage at all this early on and can continue to hug the coastline and clean up whatever they need to and try to gain entry later on into the game. Once we get closer to that mid-game, things might get a bit more spicy, but then again, we never really know as WOE making their way up a hill.
We have seen, though, the Caster's Curse is very real on this desk over the last couple of weeks, so we're going to say, there's no action, and then boom, we're going to have like 10 kills come out of nowhere. You do see, though, that a lot of those teams that were down into the circle, they have taken the vehicles and have spread themselves out along the north and west side of the map. They'll make their way back on in once they feel like they're safe and looted up enough, have enough meds for a med strap possibly. As the next circle, we're going just to shift it a little bit over to the east.
And I think the thing that we have to point out is that all of these squads are very siloed. They're all very separated and isolated from each other. The closest 2 squads are squad 9 and 11, and then 6 and 3, and that is a very large distance between the 2 of them across that terrain, though 11 looks like if they continue to hug the edge of the circle, they might be getting a bit close to that squad 9, so we might have an opportunity for some action. And like you said, that mid-game looking like it might be all of these squads grouping up, finding themselves a happy building inside of the zone to wait out a few more before they are forced to take some more action.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of a choke point take place on the west side of that circle because there is a bridge that comes across that river, and we do have a couple teams that need to use it to get back back into the circle. They could go to the south, they could go north, but that's, again, a little bit out of the way, and usually you just want to get yourself into the circle.
Yeah, it's also the matter of just waiting it out. Again, it's play zone 2. The damage isn't very high. You wait for the other squad to bail and leave the bridge abandoned before sneaking your way in while everyone else has left it undefended. So plenty of time for these squads to maneuver their way around and just continue looting up, making sure everything they've got. I like that tux. The hot pink tux. Big fan of that.
I'm a big fan of all the cool-looking suits. That's I'm a little crazy when it comes to my suiting. That's why people usually don't hire me.
Okay. in what way? How do you start a conversation like that and then not elaborate?
So I have a white tux.
Okay.
That I do wear out for finals. I do have a blue
white tux can work.
White tux with black lapels.
It's crispy. You're going for James Bond to the ball kind of thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it used to come out with a pink shirt. We used to go Miami Vice a little bit sometimes.
No tie?
No tie. No
Oof,
tie.
that's very Miami Vice.
Open collar sometimes. We also have my contrast tux. It's dark navy lapels.
Okay.
Dark navy pants, but then it's a checkered fabric that's light blue and navy. It looks really nice, actually. It's one of my favorites. That's the one I'm wearing in my WeChat photo there.
Gotcha. Yeah, hey, if it works, it works. I'm a big fan of the white linen because then that just breathes so well.
Yeah, especially like a lot of my stuff because it's from Canada. We have a lot of because we try and keep warm
like heavy wools. Yeah,
we have heavy wools usually. I do have some poly blends here and there, but it keeps me nice and warm when I'm over here, so I can't actually usually wear them. I like packed like 2 suits, and I was like, when am I ever gonna wear these? I'm gonna be way too hot in this studio.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as the casters as the players. Whenever you're playing the game or whenever you're casting the game, there will be sweating involved. As looks like Aichi trying to push up into this building. Just Jiren spots him as he makes his way down. Looks like we could be seeing a clash between this squad as Fury Roads trying to make their way in, but I don't know that the Just squad has been spotted.
They're looking here. Jiren has an idea, but they're not 100% sure at this point. Lancer and them also up here in the top side of this building. Again, this is something we would never see before the crossbow nerf. 3 people right beside a window, that's an instant wipe. So you can see these players are willing to now take strategies that were often considered much more dangerous a couple of weeks ago.
I don't think Jiren actually spotted Aichi there. He backed away from all of the windows on that side of the building, and the rest of the Just squad is continuing to watch south instead of north, where the Fury Road squad is. If they continue to loot, Aichi might be hurt, but he gets in, he sees that there's not a lot of loot, he actually makes his way out of the hill unmolested. He's totally fine with that. Like ships in the night, they just pass by each other. There's this Just squad. That's the one. They managed to get themselves a whole squad wipe onto the Fire Rose squad.
So Fire Rose, they're going to get eliminated, and that was some quick action there. Those are some nice shots actually coming out onto the truck, because that wasn't actually a truck explosion.
Yeah.
That was just all individual headshots coming out.
And suddenly it makes sense why they were watching south. They must have seen another squad just a few moments ago, or maybe were predicting one to come up that path, because they find themselves with 4 kills. That said, Fury Roads is still right there. They have to have heard those gunshots. They have to have seen the kill feed lit up and the destroyed vehicle on the road. That's up to Fury Roads to pursue that squad inside of the building, though, or perhaps back away and decide to take the fight at a later date. As now we're keeping an eye on the baby squad, looting around by Research Edifice to see what they can do. Still happily inside of the zone. 42 players left at this 14-minute mark.
Research Edifice. I call that Halo building because it reminds me a lot of the old school Halo 2 and Halo 3 architecture you used to see back on Xbox. So again, we're going to see our next circle line here. Where are we going? We're going a little bit north, but not too far north, as we're just going to be a little bit to the east of Bitter Lake's top portion. So already a couple squads into the circle. There's some buildings on the south side, but a lot of open hills and terrain on the north. So depending on where the next circle is going to be, that'll dictate where we're going to see our action.
Yeah, it really looks like we might have another very vehicle-focused finish like we did in that round 1. If we find ourselves in those hills, in those trees, those trucks are going to become so important to roam around and pick off any stragglers that are separated. And then things become a little bit dangerous to see if squads are still using the crossbow grenade launcher. Because even though it doesn't blow up right away, if you hit the vehicle, you have 3 seconds to get the heck out of there before that thing detonates for a massive amount of damage.
See here, this is Triple F as they continue to make their way on over. They're on the top side of the map. We also have Gao, who have decided to take a longer approach up near Observatory as they are taking a little bit of that circle damage, but like we mentioned, it's only play zone 3. It's not doing a whole lot to them. You just got to pop a booster and you should be able to heal up just fine.
John Cena making his way further into the map. There's actually a package drop right there, but he sees another vehicle nearby as the two-man squad of Fate. Uh-oh, are they going to continue pursuing this? The fire is split amongst the two vehicles, though, as they did lose Delusion. Are they going to go back for him, though? He's dropped down onto the ground. They're trying to get the knock, or sorry, the elimination, but here comes the rest of the squad. They see him down in the grass, but are instead pursuing the vehicle. John Cena, bum-ba-da-ba. He's chasing him down, trying to see what he can get on the remaining members of the WAF squad. They've still got the knocked member and haven't run him over. They haven't got the elimination just yet, but they are patrolling around this vehicle. FF, his vehicle is on fire, and I'm not talking about the decals.
Yeah, already smoking there, and you can smell the burning metal as they're going to go ahead and back off here. So Triple F are going to go ahead and lose at least one of their members. Delusion's going to get knocked outside the vehicle and then get run down here by Fate. So we start to see some of that vehicle warfare just a little bit early. Fate's still thinking about maybe going for Fury Roads here, as I'm not too sure we know exactly where this other squad is.
Yeah, it looks like Fury Roads have backed away from the bottom of the hill. They're just holding out on top of this terrain as the Fate squad have all hopped into a new vehicle, and they are getting the heck out of there. They've still got a man down in the open field. Actually, it looks like they've managed to get him back up. It's the Fate squad. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was WAF who ended up losing their member. The Fate squad is still sitting at 4, but now they just have one vehicle.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and head a little bit more north with their vehicle because that should be a little bit more useful when it comes to these kind of skirmishes. You do see the side of Just Call Me taking some pot shots, and that is going to be enough to cause the vehicle to spark into flames. Not enough to explode, but you see Fate, they're just going to go ahead and play this one a little bit slow. They're in a nice little divot here, so they shouldn't be exposed from too many angles.
As we all know, bullet holes cause fire. In
Obviously.
all situations. Of course, of course.
It wasn't like there was a bunch of Mythbuster episodes
no.
that disprove that.
No. If there is gas in the tank, it will catch fire and explode if a sufficient number of bullets have hit the vehicle, regardless of where.
Well, that's why a BMX bike was able to just explode.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like the frame
gas in the tank, yeah.
There's in the frame, they have a little bit of gas in there. No reason for it, but, you know.
All it takes is one.
It's for the brakes. It keeps the brakes moving.
Yeah. Meanwhile, WOE still sitting inside of this building on the south end of the zone, still just relaxing, trying to hold on for that mid-game as much as they can. They've still got their 4 squads stacked up, and with 41 players left, they're trying to drag this game out a little bit more. And it seems like that's what we're seeing from a handful of these squads during the mid-game, just playing it nice and slow. A few skirmishes here and there, but no real intense action to break this game open.
All right, so show me the next circle, and we'll see where we're going here on the map as it's just about to close off as we approach that 13.5 minutes on the clock, and we are going all the way back on over to the east from the looks of it. We're going on the other side of Bitter Lake, and for some of these squads, that can be both a good and a bad thing. Lunazy, RTV, they are in range here at Nara. Nara are just on the edge of the circle, so if I do remember from seeing the map from earlier, we should have some buildings in that next circle. As you can see, Seal's already looking to try and scout one out, but honestly, I think they're all occupied.
A handful of these buildings have got a few players inside of them. Seal still trying to hold on to it. His baby is across the street from them. And he's trying to get information right now. He's using himself as human bait to try and find out where these other squads are. Where can I bring the rest of my team to keep them safe for the rest of the duration of this middle circle? But looks like that log cabin is going to have to do, and hopefully the SEAL squad won't have to relocate elsewhere. As you can see on top of the hill, it's the E8 squad. Further down, it's Fury Roads. Further down even more, it's WAF. SEAL, they might just have to be content with just the log cabin.
Yeah, they have that one cabin that's in the top east side of the circle, so they will have that available to them. It does stay within the circle for the next one, so they should be a little bit happy. They don't have to move for the next 2 to 4 minutes. Next circle, though, we're likely going to see it force. It's going to be interesting to see, especially if the next circle lands in between all of these houses on the top of this plateau that we're kind of on here, because there isn't a whole lot of cover. And with that too, because crossbows have been nerfed, no one picked one up, you can't flush out these teams as easily as you could before. They're going to be hiding in these cabins like Fate.
You need grenades, you need grenade launchers, or you need a very efficient breach and clear. And the best team at those breaches and clears has been eliminated, which means we're going to be taking it nice and slow and waiting for the map itself to force these engages and bring the players in. Now, without that breach and clear strategy, though, without that team still in the game, that does mean med strats become a lot more viable because there are going to be less intense firefights for a little bit longer. It's easier to hug the outside of the map and pick up more med kits and try to drag the game out as we get closer and closer in.
Honestly, if we see one of these full squads go toe-to-toe and they end up losing 1 or 2 members but wipe the other team, that's when we're going to see a med strat here, especially 5 and 8 that we're kind of sitting up on. I believe this is Baby and War of Elite. Maybe going to clash here on just the south side of the circle. Baby is in the circle in their house. War of Elite, they're looking at Baby's house and saying that's good real estate.
That is some very high value property, and we want to try to get in there. They're scouting out as best they can, but they see bodies on top of the hill, and they see that doors are open in some of these buildings. So they know that there was a squad nearby. Doesn't look like they've spotted out Baby just yet, so there could be a chance. It's Fate. They're trying to get into the zone, but like you said, Nepter, he's going to start taking some pot shots on top of this course. Javejan, he's going to get out of there. John Cena, you can't see him, you can't shoot him. Riven makes his way on top of the hill. And Nepter, he's given away his position here. 3-man squad of NRX trying to find some kills.
Nepter taking some pot shots, but was not actually able to get himself a down. He is a little bit exposed. He gets himself onto the downside of this hill. He's on the edge, though, so he has to be careful. You do see some of the rest of the team coming on over of Triple F, wanting to support. So we see Lancer already looking to go into a med strat. Next circle, we're going to have some buildings in, and then we have a lot of open fields. So the teams that are going to be in those houses, next circle after this, they're going to be forced out of those compounds, and then honestly, it's just a couple roads, and this is where you kind of wish you had a vehicle here or there. Now we start to see some fights, so Rule's going to get taken on down here as War of Elite have finally clashed here with Baby. Look at this, though. Triple F coming on over toward the side. This is WBS trying to do what he can, but unfortunately, he's got no explosives. He can't take down that vehicle as easy, and it's coming up the hill. He's able to avoid that, but he won't be able to avoid the gunshots coming on through.
That's the Thompson knock as they manage to get him down. WAF losing a few members here. FF ends up dropping down, and still Kyrax. He's nice and healthy and going to heal his way up. And there's another truck knockout on the Nepter as NRX are losing a few members here and there. It was a very risky play at that low health, but somehow it pays off. And all of this action is going on towards that east side of the zone. There's still plenty of players on the west.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds until this zone closes on in. 36 players. Now we're going to start seeing some grenades come out here from Fate, though, as they're trying to flush out Gao, who got themselves onto the side of this cliff. They're just on the outer edge of this circle. Now the truck's going to advance on through. Can they actually get a knock? And they will find it as Riven gets taken on down, but now the rest of the squad, can they avenge him? Baby, meanwhile, is going to get taking some casualties from Inept. Dave June is going to get taken on down. Gao has been able to jump out, and John Cena, you can see him lying right down there on the floor. He's going to bleed out himself, and Fate are going to lose out their squad. 1 member remaining.
Yeah, the Fate squad, they've only got Joel just on the edge of the zone, but he is so far away from any safety. It's going to be so tough for him to try to get into safe terrain and try to drag it out. Might be looking to swap over to a med strat as the rest of the squad, Jeff Pro starting to push in. Kyrax, he's actually taking some pot shots from Joel, who ends up getting tagged down, and that's the elimination. Ends up showing himself by standing on the hill and ends up going down. Meanwhile, knock onto the Baby squad further inland as there is constant fire. This is the conflict we were hoping to see.
Yeah, unfortunately now Baby's compound is actually outside the circle, and now, here we go. The nades coming on in. Gao's going to be bowling for members as they take down 2 with the nade. Make it another one there as 7 is able to land the shots from downtown and force them back and over toward the side here, hiding behind the truck. Shot's going to come out here from 7 as he's just looking to finish him off, jumping out from behind the building. Not going to be enough, though, as he gets taken on down by 7.
Man, the SEAL squad ends up getting eliminated as 7 shows up with just the right number of grenades and just the right positioning, pulling them out. Mao, meanwhile, dies just outside of the zone, and that's another knockdown onto Bandar. The Call Me squad are losing a few members. Baby, another chicken nade onto Fury Roads. It's constant fire and shots all across this final few zones.
So you can see how low those members are of Baby as they're making their way up the hill after their last fight, and that's going to be what ends up killing them as HE's able to turn around from Fury Roads, find themselves the kill. Mr. Lonely and them also within this squad. squad. Guess what, though? War of Elite's going to come on behind there and take some shots onto the lone baby. Remember, Gao's over toward the right. Down to R is just in the middle of everything. Nara's going to lose lane as he finally gets taken on down. Another chicken grenade going to come on out here from toward the side. Lunazy's trying to draw him out. Now we have ourselves pretty much a bunch of squads on the outer edge of the blue zone, but we're closing in onto an open field.
Yeah, this is going to be a real tense final zone. Just that single building there. The Gao squad trying to hold it down. The grenades are firing across. Everyone knows that they are there, but RTV, are they going to be eliminated before they get the chance to flush this building out as they're trying to push forward? Denzi on the far side of the hill, just outside of the zone. He's trying to play the terrain right now and drag this out as a backup strat for his team while the Gao squad continues to push in as 3. But with constant nades flying back and forth, it's really just an all-out galley of who goes down first, who gets the lucky grenade knock.
You can hear the chicken grenades pocking back and forth here. Another one's going to come out from 7 from Gao, trying to flush out these other members of RTV along the hill. Maybe he can find one onto Leon as he comes on over. Got to be a little bit careful there. Still no damage coming on out. Gao has themselves the one building that is still in the circle, but he can guess that other teams are going to start launching in their grenades. Nice shots coming out here from 7. He's already got himself 4 kills in the game, looking to get another knockdown. Fury Road's trying to get back in toward the zone because at the moment they're on this outer edge and the zone is closing on in. 7 finds his target. HE, though, is going to be the one stealing in the way the kills, but he gets taken on down, and 7 gets another knockdown from long range.
Yeah, the Gao squad are managing to hold their ground by this log cabin just inside of the zone, and with all of this cover, they are just waiting for enemy squads to funnel in one after the next, and this is kill after kill. 5 kills for 7 so far, as he is just picking members of the enemy squads off. 14 players left, 26 minutes in, and now we're getting down to the final zone. Tragically, this one does not favor the Gao squad, but they've already knocked out so many members, and there are still knocks going left and right.
And they got themselves the range, too. 7's been able to pick off members here and there. They got themselves 5 kills alone on him already. 1, 2, you make that 7 so far, and then make it 8 with your lone member. Guess what? They're taking some shots here from Lunazy. Grenades coming on over. Not going to be enough of a knockdown. Lonely gets killed outside the safe zone. Lion trying to get himself another nade on over. This is RTV that would play spoiler to Gao. And Gao's got to be careful. They're on top of this building, but if they get picked off here, because guess what? You still have Superman from Just Call Me that has been able to find himself just crawling through this field undetected. RTV, at some point, they have to come on over the hill. Akame has to hide himself behind the tree, but unfortunately, he's already in the zone. It's not going to be enough as another kill going over to Gao.
Yeah, 2 kills now on Hello Den. This is a massive game from Gao. They've still got 30 seconds before the zone is going to start pushing them out into the open field, and they're just trying to take pot shots. They're trying to narrow the playing field down. Of the remaining 7 players, 4 of them are on Gao. Superman and Jiren, the last competition, trying to hug the terrain as best they can, but the Gao squad, in just a few seconds, they're going to start the move.
Yeah, RTV has no members allowed anymore from Gao, so now it's Gao against these 2 solo members as they have found themselves to be able to sneak on over, make that 2, as that is 2 from the side here of Just Call Me. Jiren keeps sneaking on over. Superman hasn't been called, but guess what? Now
risky.
This vehicle is going to come around, and it's going to start scouting out these other members. Superman's wide in the open shot's going to come out there, but it's enough. Jiren actually is able to get the down here onto 7. This does not help Gao at all. They know where one person is, but they don't know where Superman is.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that vehicle play. I like the idea of scouting for information, but you already saw that it was on fire, and it was taking constant shots in all of the previous engages. Now we can see Gao sitting outside of the zone. They're going to start pushing up now as Denzi. He's taking just a bit of damage as Superman. He's firing. They actually managed to get another knock onto Hello Den. Somehow Gao, they had the perfect situation, but they are hemorrhaging members.
And unfortunately, Jiren does not actually know that Superman is over toward the left. They've actually helped each other. Now the shot's going to come out through. Figures someone is there, but unfortunately, now he's going to get lit up. He gets taken on down here. Denzin alive. 2 members of Gao against Superman.
And this is Gao. 3 members still alive. They've got 7 inside of the zone, but he is knocked. Now they know where Superman is. Superman gets the kill onto 7, and they're trying to play the timer. They've got 1 member inside of the zone slowly bleeding out. As Denzi, he is healing up as best he can. Superman, he's trying to do the same, but he is safe, and he is playing the clock. Zone 8, 29 minutes in. Denzi, is he going to go for the hero play?
Denzi, someone has to move here. Denzi's the one that has to move. Superman is fine
Whoa,
here, but over from
Denzi!
the side, Denzi somehow gets the angle I don't even know how that was possible, but Superman falls, and that's going to be Gao taking game 2.
And Gao Denzi manages to find just the foot sticking outside of cover of Superman and gets the elimination. And it should be noted, Superman keeping his calm, one member of his squad against a full 4-stack and another solo player, and still able to come up huge.
That was so close. I don't know how Superman got shot there. Like you mentioned, maybe the foot was able to stick out there and Denzi was able to find the kill. Some other highlights, though, of course, Lancer and crew coming in at 3rd place. We have RTV after their fight against Gao finishing in 4th, and then Fury Roads coming in at 5th.
Yeah, and it should be noted that there was a massive number of kills for Gao at the end. They ended up with 13 kills.